Hello and welcome everyone to today's episode. I'm JJ Flazanes, your host. Thank you for downloading today's show. Today we're going to talk about the hero's journey. I am very excited to share this with you. It was perfect divine timing how this all happened. Now it's going to be chock full of amazing content, but most importantly the 12 stages of the hero's journey. So if you're driving, just listen the first round, but I would encourage you to go home or go to your desk and find a time to actually write down the 12 different stages, because we are all living in one of these stages. And I think one of the best things about today's show is the clarity and the framework that it can give you to move through the stage you're in to the next stage, or at least to give you hope that you're not going to be in this stage forever, no matter where you are. Now, other tools that you can be using to help you through whatever you're going through right now, of course, is my free 30-day manifestation challenge. The next one starts very soon on September 1st. We do it for 30 days. And I will be letting people into the Facebook group. So if you've signed up and you're waiting in the wings, there are a bunch of you. You will be let in around the 21st, 20th of August to give you a good week to watch all the videos and get caught up to what you're doing. Listen to the instructions. That way you know how to handle the challenge. The manifestation challenge is really just a practice of getting yourself into alignment. Really simply put, that's all it is. The tools that you use to get there can be many. I provide a bunch of them, but you don't have to use any of them. The 30-day challenge is really to give you structure and to give you accountability to doing it. Now, we're not going to be able to make everyone accountable, but we offer a space to give you accountability if you so choose. And if you're not interested in being on the Facebook group for that, I do have another free webinar coming up. Most of you already have heard about it. It's September 5th. And it is at 5:30 p.m. Pacific time, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. It's a one-time deal, and you get some bonus gifts if you show up live. And both of those things, well, you can find jjflazanes.com/30-day. Although if you just go to jjflazanes.com and look at free tools and resources, that will take you to the Manifestation Challenge. jjflazanes.com/events will take you to the webinar, okay? Or jjflazanes.com/manifesting. So whichever one you remember is the one that I want you to use. And I hope to see you at one of the two free events before or by September 5th. So let's dive into today's show. Sullivan Walden has been on the show before. In fact, she was on twice in season 2 of the Fit to Love podcast show. Now, I don't know if I've repurposed them on Spirit, Purpose, and Energy or not. So I'm just going to give you the places where you can most easily find her episodes. So it's the Fit to Love podcast. It has a new, beautiful blue outlined icon. It's not the old one, but anyway, it doesn't matter. It's the same show, but it's the Fit to Love podcast. And if you type in Fit to Love, for those of you that are not following that show, there are 3 different shows. So I just want to let you know it's the one with the blue. Okay, it's the one with it's mostly blue. So the first show she did was season 2, episode 11, The Hidden Meaning in Your Dreams. Again, that's season 2, episode 11, The Hidden Meaning in Your Dreams. And season 2, episode 113, How Your Dreams Can Give You Power. Again, that's season 2, episode 113, How Your Dreams Can Give You Power. Because she is a dream expert, and we don't talk about dreams as much as I would like to on today's show, but that's because we've covered it so extensively in these other 2 episodes. So what I would prefer, I would love for you to go back and listen to those 2 first and then listen to this one third. But if I've wet your whistle, so to speak, and you really want to hear the hero's journey first, go ahead and listen to this one. But I invite you to go back and listen to the other 2 as well. Sullivan Walden is on a mission to awaken the world to the power of dreams. She's a certified clinical hypnotherapist whose unique approach to dream therapy has been featured on national talk shows including Dr. Oz, Ricki Lake, The Real, Bethenny, Coast to Coast, and Hallmark's Home and Family. Her approach to dreams is both reverent and zany, which may account for why she's rumored to be the lovechild of Carl Jung and Lucille Ball. In addition to her latest work of Heart, the Hero's Journey Dream Oracle Cards, and the second edition of the Dream Oracle Cards, she's the author of 10 books, including bestsellers Chicken Soup for the Soul, Dreams and the Unexplainable, Chicken Soup for the Soul, Dreams and Premonitions, I Had the Strangest Dream, It's all in your dreams, Dreaming Heaven, and the Love, Sex, and Relationship Dream Dictionary. Welcome back to the show, Kelly.
Thank you so much, JJ. What a pleasure and blessing and honor it is to be with you again, and a dream.
It's so appropriate. For those of you who listen to the show for a while, Kelly's been on twice. We've had 2 other shows early on in the Fit to Love experience, and some of them have been repurposed and some of them haven't. But it's a treat for you today because most of you are going to get this episode, which is going to focus on the hero's journey.
Mm.
And I'm fascinated because it's not the first time I've heard about it or wanted to learn more about it. I've kind of walked the path a little bit, but I'm super excited to have you here to help explain, teach us, and take a little deeper dive into the hero's journey. So why don't we start with that, Kelly? What is the hero's journey?
Oh, I'm so excited to talk about this. So the hero's journey, I didn't put this on the map. I just kind of borrowed this and blended it with dreams and created a hero's journey dream oracle deck for anyone who's saying she didn't write that. That's Joseph Campbell. Joseph Campbell is a 20th century scholar, mythologist, author, who is the one, he studied all kinds of myths from every culture. He's just just one of the wisest men who's ever lived. And he noticed that in all of the origin stories or mythological stories from all over the planet, every different kind of religion, they were all basically telling the exact same story, just with a few nuances and different types of characters and different colors reflecting the culture they came from. But he calls the hero's journey really the mono myth, because it's the one story that we all tell. And his opinion was that it's such an important story that we all tell all the time, whether we know it or not, is because it's the story of what it is to be human. And it's basically the story of a person. Usually it starts off as a young person, but that could be the young person even in an older person. It's usually a person that is embarking on a noble path of some kind, whether they deliberately seek it out or whether it's thrust upon them. Sometimes it starts off with their kingdom or the place they live in ruin and they're forced out, or they get inspired by something and they have to go out to another land, and they go out beyond their comfort zone, and they have difficulty crossing the threshold. Usually there's some challenges. They have to connect with some kind of a mentor, some higher being that knows more than they do, or somebody who's been there, done that. And as they cross the threshold and they end up in this foreign land, Joseph Campbell calls it the quote unquote special world. This is a place where all the familiarity of home sweet home is gone, and everything flips upside down. Everything you think you know is inverted, and there's the road of trials. You go about this, your life is fraught with difficulties, and you're like, hey, this was supposed to be fun. It was supposed to be great, but it's challenging, it's difficult. And then you go into an innermost cave, or the belly of the whale, as it is sometimes. There's usually a dark night of the soul that causes the hero, and the hero doesn't know they're a hero, by the way. It causes them to have to hear their own inner voice. It causes them to have to go deep within themselves and find a resource in the dark that they didn't know they had. And armed with this resource, they then have to face their biggest challenge. And it usually involves a parental figure, a father, a mother, or some kind of a character that was an authority figure that was holding them down. Once they slay that dragon, overcome that thing, they get the reward. They're rewarded with some form of strength or wisdom or financial gain or status or something they didn't have. And often people think that's where the hero's journey ends. But Joseph Campbell said, no, no, no. The hero's journey doesn't end until the hero brings their gift, their reward, their elixir home to the ordinary world, making the circle a complete loop, and then sharing what they learned with the people that were left back home, so that the whole tribe can then be empowered. Even if they don't go on the journey with them, everyone learns about this myth and this story, and they become empowered by it. So it's really the story of our transformation. We're all on it all the time, whether we know it or not, just virtue of the fact that we are angelic beings that decided to put on human clothing and come here. And even if we sit and we're couch potatoes and we're not doing something that looks heroic, it's heroic just being alive, being here. But we can raise the game and have an even more epic hero's journey when we really bring consciousness to our lives and become aware of what we're doing, and we dedicate our path to something higher and bigger than ourselves. So JJ, even though this concept is, you've heard of it, but you didn't know about it before, you are a total hero on a hero's journey, and it's high time you get to know what the 12 stages are all about. So I'm so happy to get to share it with you.
Yeah, I'm chomping at the bit here to continue on. Like I said before, I've dabbled in someone else presenting the hero's journey as a way to walk through your transformation and a way to walk through your life. But it's been in the back of my head, and I actually have never really used it. I've never really talked about it. I've never really sort of taken it on, if you will. Yeah. I know it's what all movies are made from. It's what most books are made from, right? Because we're watching, we're witnessing someone's transformation. And
exactly
it's always that, like you said, dark night of the soul. Like we have to have that in order to transform. And we all know that intellectually, but putting it in a structure of the hero's journey can soften the blow, I think, for those of us going through it in the moment.
Exactly. It gives us a frame. So when I first got familiar with this, I was in therapy years ago, and I was so fraught with victimhood, feeling like, why has everyone in life done me wrong? Why me? Poor me, poor me. And my therapist at the time said, you need to every single day, at least once a day, maybe several times a day, remind yourself that you're a hero on a hero's journey. And that seemed just so far-fetched to me, because I felt like anything but there was something about that resonated. And in looking at the people who were being mean to me or being kind of the naysayers, it's like, oh, every hero's journey has those people. It's not a hero's journey without them. If everyone was like, yay, JJ, go girl, go, it's all awesome, everything you do is perfect, then you know you were off track. You know you're on track when you've got some allies, for sure. Everybody needs the allies, the ones that do have your back and totally get you. But if there isn't at least one person that's like, I'm not sure about you, what are you doing? Were they're questioning you, or even posing a great obstacle, or even a gatekeeper that, like, maybe trying to get your book published at the publishing company, you know for sure has your name all over it, and they're like, no, we'll pass. It's like that is even part of the hero's journey. There's got to be some tension. And without knowing that you're on a hero's journey, you might just take it personally, and you might just think this is just you, and you just get bad luck, and you might pack up your bag and go home. But knowing that you're a hero on a hero's journey, it creates a context around the difficulties that ennoble it, that give you a different frame, give me a different frame. This is why I've been so obsessed with it since I first learned about it. And I use it every single day with with my clients, with what I'm writing. And it just creates this context that gives me a little bit more strength and clarity, a bigger picture, to make it a little easier to just keep going. And it's pretty awesome. But here's a funny thing. When I talk about the 12 stages of the hero's journey, I find that one of the most difficult stages for people to really rock and do well is, strangely, the reward stage. Especially women. Women don't know how to accept their just desserts, their praise. They kind of skip right through that, like, oh, yay, okay, I got the book deal, or yeah, oh, yay, I won that, that award, or I got that thing, but okay, let's move on. What's the next mountain to climb? It's like we need to get a lot better at receiving and integrating the reward. I think that's one area that we could all really focus on, and be happy to show you how dreams can help us do that.
Great. Well, with your superpowers of dreams and my superpowers of law of attraction and teaching people how to receive, because you can't get what you're asking for if you don't learn how to receive it, right? If you're not open and in receiving mode, A, you're not going to get it. And B, when it comes, you're not going to get it because you're not open to it.
Exactly.
So that's a great combination. But can we go over the 12 stages?
Yes.
First?
Yes,
Great.
absolutely. Absolutely. So the first stage is, and sometimes this is not even considered a stage, but I think it's important to call it a stage. It's the ordinary world. This is like before anything happens. This is when you're in a moment of rest, a moment of, hey, I've got the world all figured out. Got it all. I'm feeling good about my life. My to-do list is done. Woohoo. Those are rare moments for most people, but it's kind of like just getting, this is when you get your ordinary stuff together. From my perspective, with regards to dreams, this is before you start dreaming. This is when you want to make sure you get your dream zone in order. You make your list of the things that you want your dreams to help you with. This is when you can make a gratitude list. It's like you kind of clean yourself up and get yourself ready as if you're going to know there's a trip ahead of me. I need to prepare myself.
Okay, so first let's go through the 12 stages, and then we're going to use Kelly's expertise and what she can teach you and help you and empower you with dreams to how we can move through and amplify and clarify every stage of this and connect you a little bit deeper to what wisdom you already have internally by using dreams. So go ahead, let's go through the 12 steps.
Okay, perfect. So the first stage is the ordinary world. Second stage, call to adventure. The third stage is the refusal of the call. Stage 4 is meeting the mentor. Stage 5, crossing the threshold. Stage 6, the belly of the whale. And stage 7, the road of trials. Stage 8, the supreme ordeal, or I like to call it the supreme opportunity. Stage 9, the reward. Stage 10, the journey back. Stage 11, the resurrection. And stage 12, return with the elixir. So shall we elaborate a little about each one?
Well, let's do both. Let's go back, and in each stage, we're going to elaborate about what it is and then how you work with people to utilize their dreams to help them with these stages.
Great. So in the ordinary world, stage 1, this is where you just get your act together. This is before anything grand happens. It might seem like, oh, this is a boring stage, but it's not. There's lots to do. This is about getting yourself prepared. This is about cleaning up some of the, like maybe making some amends to people that you've been carrying around, or making a list of the things that you want to do. To me, with regards to dreaming, clear off your nightstand, put your dream journal on your bed, make it clear, make it easy, set a dream declaration before you go to sleep. These are very ordinary things you can do to make sure that you have good dreams and that your dreams are helping you on your hero's journey. So I'll move on to the call to adventure. So often this happens organically. This is not something that we necessarily plan, although we can have a say in the matter. Often this will happen literally. Sometimes it's a phone call. Somebody calls you and says, hey, JJ, let's collaborate on a project. Or, hey, do you want to be in a TV show? Do you want to be in a video series? Hey, do you want to come to Europe and teach a class? So it can be some form of tap on the shoulder to do something that is an expansion of what you've done before, something that's a little bit risky, a little bit scary, or maybe a lot risky. So it's the call to adventure. And it can come even just in your own meditation when you're sitting still, nothing's going on, but you get an inspiration that comes in like from God or from an angel. It's like a divine tap on the shoulder. You might get an idea that way. So the next stage, the refusal of the call, this, a lot of people that teach about the hero's journey, I think skip over this. This is an important stage to honor. Anyone who starts out on a path to do something that is new, different, or a stretch is going to encounter resistance. I'm not good enough. I don't know enough. I don't have enough time. I don't have enough money. And if it's not you that's resisting the call, it will be somebody in your life saying, oh my God, that's ridiculous. Everyone else has already done that. Or no one's done that and it's probably not doable. Or there's some good reason that somebody that you care about or respect is going to say, don't do that. Or even it could just be the haters online or something where there's going to be some resistance. And I believe resistance is often a constant companion. It's going to come with us on the ride. So no matter what stage we're in, there will be some form of, I can't do this. What am I doing? I'm an imposter. This isn't enough.
So when it comes to the refusal, actually, the first thing that came to my mind was marriage, and how many people. Well, I want to put this in context of relationship. Of course, this
Yes.
was definitely my life, but a lot of
Yes.
people get into relationship, and it doesn't have
Yeah.
to be marriage, but let's just say any relationship. And even if it's someone who inspires you, you think the
Yes.
world is your oyster. We're gonna go on this adventure together and this journey, and then the
Right.
first time your feelings are hurt
Yeah.
because something gets triggered in you,
Boom.
your resistance comes up because of your childhood wounds.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
that stage, unfortunately, is to be expected.
Yeah.
It is where we, in my opinion, we have our comfort zone, and now someone is asking you to take a leap of faith and to go beyond your comfort zone into a place that you don't have tools for, you've never been before. And it is to be expected. I like what you said about resistance, in terms of like, it's kind of the constant companion. How
Right.
I like to phrase resistance for myself and others is that every stage, there's a new stage. It's like taking a step and wondering, I'm not sure what's on the other side of this. And we say lots of times, many people, I deal with a lot of law of attraction.
Mm-hmm.
I run a manifestation challenge. One's coming up very soon.
Oh.
And people ask,
Ooh.
like, it's so interesting, because I'll warn anyone who's going to be doing it. And those of you that have done this, you know this. When you say, yes, I want to change my life, and you take that step forward, sometimes
Mm.
life goes, okay, here you go.
Right.
And people break up in relationships. They lose their
Yes.
jobs, something major. It happened to me. I mean,
Uh-huh.
it's happening to me
Oh.
as we speak. But it's knowing that you've asked for it and now it's here. And even if you
Right.
don't like it, and even if it's uncomfortable, you have a hand in asking for it. So to look at the resistance
Right.
as just that learning curve, just that new level of courage, new level of skills, new level of belief, next level. You want to get to the next level in your life. This is where it's like that eye opening, here's where I'm being called to grow and
Right.
expand, to receive and accept what it is I've asked for, which is different, bigger, better, whatever, than
Yes.
where I've been before.
Right, exactly. And I think instead of hating that the resistance is there or wishing it away, I think we should be grateful for it. If we didn't have it, we would just run out in the middle of the street. We'd just say, "Hey, I'm going to be president of the United States." We'd just do whatever, and there wouldn't be any part of us editing or checking in. It's important that we have it. It's part of what keeps us alive. We wouldn't be here without it. So I think we need to have some reverence for our inner resistance, not make it our God, not let it drive our car for us, but it can ride shotgun with us, and it can be an informer, but it doesn't get to run the show. But it is an important part of what comes along for the journey. And I think using marriage as a metaphor is a perfect analogy. Getting married, I mean, somebody asking you to marry them, that's the call to adventure. And of course, the resistance is going to come up. And what's important is to then seek a mentor, get some insight from somebody whose marriage you admire, so that you can get some insight. So that's the next step on the journey. But just to tie in dreams for a second, every night we're called to adventure, because every night we're going to have dreams. So that's kind of that part of it. And then there's always resistance to remembering the dream or to writing it down. Even if we remember our dream upon awakening, there's like this was a stupid dream. Why am I going to write this down? Oh my God, it doesn't mean anything. There's refusal to even wanting to be a part of that journey, because it's weird. It's odd. Okay, so we get a mentor, and often the mentor can be a higher part of ourselves, or it can be somebody that we lock arms with metaphysically or physically to help make like for you, JJ, for people that are wanting to manifest beyond their comfort zone, to talk to you and have you along with them for the ride is very smart. That will just strengthen the journey and make it easier to then cross the threshold, which is the next step. And really, you know that you're crossing the threshold. You can't just skip across the threshold. You have to use your will, because there's usually a threshold guardian. There's usually some serious form of resistance. I think of it as like the troll that lives under the bridge like, you don't want this, you can't do this, it's not okay, no, no, no. You can't tiptoe across that bridge. You've got to say, yes, I'm going for it. You need to engage your will, or align self-will with thy will, and then get yourself across that bridge. And then once you're across the threshold, you might find yourself, now here's where it's all there, everything can be happening at once. It's not necessarily in this order. By the way, the whole hero's journey is a hologram. People experience it sometimes way out of order. So it's not always cookie cutter exactly this way, but I like to teach it as if it were a ladder, or as if there were specific steps, just so we understand each stage, but know full well that the hero's journey is bigger than that. And some stages will happen one in front of the other, and sometimes all at once. But the belly of the whale, this is a dark night of the soul. This is where we drop in to, like, everything's upside down. Jonah ran from his purpose, and the whale swallowed him whole. And so sometimes this is, to me, I think the belly of the whale is where we confront the part of us that is afraid of being alone, or afraid of being smothered and being taken over by someone. The whale does both of those things. We're alone in that belly. We have to feel what it's like to not have anybody whispering in our ear telling us what to do. And it's also, we feel engulfed by that whale. We feel overwhelmed. And so many people that I've worked with over the years, we're all on this trajectory to learn to love the belly of the whale stage. It seems at first that there's nothing lovable about it, but it really is a wonderful stage, because once you accept that you're in it, that's the stage you're in, it can suddenly become quiet and calm. It's really the only calm time along the hero's journey. You can hear yourself think down there. And it's kind of just the moment that you come to peace with it is the moment the whale spits you out.
And that's the key word there. That's the key phrase about making peace with it. And I think what this structure provides is consciousness that it is a process that you're going through. So many times we look at life and say, well, this is what it is right now. And but not recognizing you're not going to be where you are right now forever. This is part of the process. And if you can identify where you are on the process, you know what's coming next. If you can surrender at each stage to accept the lessons and the expansion that you've asked for. Otherwise, you wouldn't have gotten the call. Before we move on to the rest of the stages, because I know that while I have, I'm sure in the intro, told everybody what 2 shows that you were on, Unfit to Love, I'm sure they probably did not go back and listen to them, or it's been a long time. And I want to just connect at this level. Your expertise in dreams. And I just want to, if you had, I want to kind of give them a short little snippet of all the things that we've already talked about before on the show years ago, and what your expertise is in, and how you teach people to use that, and why we're going over this hero's journey to also connect people to their inner guidance that can help at each stage. So why don't you just explain? I know we're taking a pause in the middle of this thing here, middle of the stages conversation, but I just want people to sort of get a better framework for the power you are and the skills that you are wanting them to learn and to utilize.
Sure. Well, in a nutshell, according to the American Hypnosis Association, our conscious mind, that's the mind that we're engaged in right now. It's our logical part of our mind. It's 12% of our mind's power. And this is also where our will is, by the way. When we say, ooh, law of attraction, I want to manifest going to Paris. That's our will. That's our 12% that's talking. Our subconscious mind, our dreaming mind, however, is 88% of our mind's power. This is our unconscious beliefs. This is the stuff that we've inherited from even lifetimes past. This is our deeper self. This is the part of us that is connected to infinity. And often when it comes to manifesting, I call it dreamifesting, but when it comes to like creating what we want in our lives, our 12% says one thing, but our 88% says another, and there's a conflict, and so we get frustrated because we don't get what we want. When you do dream work, in a sense, you're bridging the gap between the 12% and the 88% and getting your whole self aligned so that you're just moving in one seamless, streamlined direction. So you're not fighting against yourself. There's less resistance. So understanding your dreams, or even remembering even one dream symbol and using that as something that you think about in your waking life, something that you meditate on in your waking life, it's as effective as bringing together these two separate parts of yourself. It seems really simple, but there's all kinds of research, even from Harvard, that backs this up, saying that even if you don't know what your dream is telling you, if you can remember some part of your dream, you become more intuitive in your waking life. You become a better problem solver. You become even more confident and more bold in making decisions, because there's some part of you that feels like you are coming from your whole larger, stronger, better self. So there's so many benefits to bringing in your dreams and taking a little bit of time to pay attention to them and weave them into your life. The hero's journey and tying them together is a way of interpreting dreams and working with your dreams so that you have this really positive framework around even the funky dreams, so that you kind of know what to do with it or what's going on in your life, and you're able to perceive behind the scenes of you and see what's really going on. It's said that our ego can lie, and often does lie. Somebody asks you how you're doing. I'm fine. How are you? Fine. Oh, good. Great. But, oh, what are you dreaming about? Oh my God, I was being chased by a monster. Oh my God. It's like, wow, there's real anxiety going on. Let's talk about that, because if we shine a light on that, we'll unravel the most important thing that's happening and open the floodgates for so many blessings to come in. So to me, I've just been fascinated by dreams since I was a little girl, and I've really never stopped. I had a little hiccup in my 20s when I kind of poo-pooed my dreams, and that was probably the darkest time of my whole life, because I was kind of separate from my higher wisdom, and I did a lot of really stupid and self-destructive things that I'm now grateful for, because I have that contrast and I can relate to people that do stupid and self-destructive things. But I'm grateful I got my dreams back, and I got them back with a vengeance. And now I'm really committed to helping people pay attention to their dreams and to decode their dreams and work with them in their waking lives.
Excellent. And like I said before in the opening, the two shows we've done goes a little deeper into how you can access your dreams a little bit more, some tools and tips about that. And so I don't want to spend that time here today because it's already on the show. And Kelly's wisdom about the hero's journey, I think, is really important for a lot of you right now. I know you're going through things. I'm going through things. You're watching me live this. And I know a lot of you are living this. And I think to give it this framework and to identify where you are, what stage are you on the hero's journey, can give you some hope, can give you some grounding. You could feel a little less like you're out of control when you understand the stage that you're in. And then Kelly's going to weave in again the power that we all have of reading and understanding and interpreting our subconscious, which comes out in our dreams, as to what to do to move to the next stage. So.
Exactly. And I'll just throw this in. One of the reasons why this is such an exciting thing for me to talk about, I've been wanting for years and years and years. I got the whisper in meditations before to tie in, to show people how I blend dreams with the hero's journey. And I was able to do that through this new Oracle deck. And people are telling me that they pull a card randomly, even like you pull a random card and you don't know what stage of the journey it's related to, but it gives you some reference to your hero's journey. It gives you an inspirational quote. It gives you a dream symbol to contemplate. So it puts you in that bridge place between conscious and unconscious or subconscious, so that you can start thinking, oh yeah, and remembering, oh yeah, I'm a hero on a hero's journey, and start to see your world around you and what's happening to you from that frame, so that you can make more empowered choices and decisions and pay attention to your dreams from that way. And the journal just came out, and I have meditations that go with that. So I'm really excited about this new kind of stage in my world to be able to present that.
We'll talk a little bit more about that at the end and let people know where they can find these things and how they're helpful to them.
Awesome.
I think we were on the belly of
The
the
belly of the
whale.
whale, which is awesome that we took our little break while we were in the belly of the whale, because isn't it lovely? In the belly of the whale is where there's depth. And I think we want to skip through it so fast, but it's like, oh, sometimes I'll even meditate on being in the belly of the whale. Oh my God, I have the funniest story for just a quick thing. This, I don't know if you can air this or not, but when I was in Spain teaching about dreams and the hero's journey, the word for whale is vagina, but the word for vagina is bah. It's like bahana. Anyway, the women in the workshop were laughing at me because I kept talking about being in the belly of your vagina or the whale of your vagina. And they were like, what does that mean? I don't get it. So anyway. Okay. Anyway, so as soon as you get comfortable in the belly of the whale, that's the time that it spits you out. As it relates to dreams, dreams of being in the belly of the whale are any dream that relates to deep water or a big wave or some dark place. And it's often a shadowy kind of a dream. So that gives you a clue that that's kind of what's happening in your life, that you're moving through the belly of the whale. And then there's the road of trials. And in other words, this is where you meet your tests, allies, and enemies. There's a lot that happens here. So you get tested when people dream about being in school, being naked back at school, being unprepared for a test or a presentation, or you're giving a speech on a stage, but you forgot to wear your pants, or you forgot your monologue, you forgot what you were going to say. These are dreams where you're being tested. So in the hero's journey, we're constantly, like if we go through Mercury retrograde and your computer stops working or whatever, anytime you're tested, know that this is the road of trials on your hero's journey. You meet your allies on the hero's journey, and these are often underestimated, but we need to honor our allies. Like JJ, you're one of my allies. Whenever I see you, it's not often enough, but when I do, I always feel a surge of strength and empowerment. It's not a sign of weakness to gravitate and grab a hold of our allies. It's a sign of strength. We need a community of people who love us and see us and who are also sticking their neck out and also going outside of their comfort zone. So this is an important thing to keep track of on our hero's journey. If we start feeling weakened, like it's too hard, grab a hold of your friends, grab a hold of JJ, grab a hold of somebody in your community to help give you strength. When it relates to dreams, if you dream you're at a party, or there's a really good friend that's giving you some advice, or you're being championed, that is related to this stage of the hero's journey. And the enemies, the people in our waking life that challenge us online. If you post something and they say, oh my God, who the hell are you? There was somebody who I had accidentally friended on Facebook that said, what do you mean you've written 10 books? I've never heard of you. I think you're a quack. So hello enemy on my hero's journey. I mean, and I got to unfriend this person, and a bunch of my friends went after him and said, yes, she did. And just because you haven't heard of her books doesn't mean she hasn't written them, and blah, blah, blah. It's like there needs to be some grist for the mill. And when we reach those people, it doesn't mean we have to get our energy drained by them, but we just recognize, okay, I'm on my hero's journey because this person showed up. Yay. Doesn't mean you have to hang out with them, but know that they will be there. In your dreams, there's going to be some people that show up in our dreams, or some animals or some creatures that seem to not want our best for us. And we have to know that they are there trying to help to make us stronger. I often say an enemy is kind of like an enema, because it's helping to flesh out the stuff in you that you don't need so that you get to keep what you do. So you like that, JJ?
That's a very interesting. I have to think about that one. I know for me, I don't consider them enemies. And I know in this scheme of
Right.
the 12 stages, enemy, and a lot of people do. When I think we get negative feedback, I think it's
Yes.
always a test. It's a test
Right.
of how much am I wounded by that, which is an
Mm.
indicator that I still have things to heal within myself. Because
Hello.
the
Right.
more things you can deflect and recognize the pain they have, well, I had somebody come on YouTube and say, well, you have no idea what you're talking about. You're too skinny. You have no idea what it's like, blah, blah, blah. And all I could think is, wow, she's in pain. She is
Right.
very, very frustrated. And that didn't affect me at all. And that
Awesome.
was a really good indicator of my own growth. And because,
Yes.
correct me if I'm wrong, but we're going to be on multiple heroes' journeys in our lives. Yes?
Oh, yes. We
Right.
are on, I mean, there's like a macro hero's journey that we're on that we could say began the moment we were conceived, and that will complete itself when we go back to where we came from on the other side of the veil. But within this macro hero's journey, there are multiple hero's journeys. And the moment one ends, the next one has already begun. So yes, there will be many, 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 many. And it's like that saying, die daily. I say be reborn daily. And even in a cycle of one day is a relative version of a hero's journey. So yes, many, many.
So what would be great is if we recognize that, and it's funny that you mentioned die versus reborn, because in the
Yeah,
tarot deck, the death card is about rebirth. So it's
exactly.
one and the same, but wouldn't
Yes.
it be great to, every time you go through this and you approach a new, let's say, enemy, to check
Yes.
in with how am I doing? Am I responding
Oh
better?
my
Do I
God.
feel more powerful? Do I feel more grounded? And I think that's useful information because it helps us uncover our next bit of work to do to get back to being in alignment, and again to expanding in the way that we want to.
Oh
But
my
as
God.
I digress, because you and I could have
No,
this conversation
this
for 3 hours.
we could, but I think this is a worthy piece because there's so many things that can stop us on our hero's journey that can make us want to give up, take our toys and go home. And it's like these moments when we get our ego punctured by something somebody says, we have to have a really healthy toolkit for how to deal with those things. I know one day when my first dream book, I Had the Strangest Dream, the Dreamer's Dictionary for the 21st Century, the day that it hit #1 on Amazon in dreams, I got the haters came out. It was like, what the heck? There was somebody that even said, die, bitch.
What?
Yes. And I was so stunned. It's like, I literally had the thought like, okay, I need to stop. Or I could see the thoughts like, okay, I need to not be so public. I need to like just keep it more internal, just focus on the people who know me and love me. And I literally could imagine myself shrinking because this one random stranger, and then there was a bunch of other ones. Somebody else was, who the hell are you? Where did you get your, what makes you Dr. Dream? You don't have an actual doctorate. What the, there's like all of that. It's like, oh my God, you're right. I need to run home. Mommy, can I have my old room back? But someone I talked to, one of my allies said, congratulations. Having feedback like this means that you are now not just preaching to the choir. Your message has gone beyond the choir. And anybody who has ever had a message go beyond the choir is going to have haters. There's no one more hated on Facebook or online than Oprah Winfrey. She's got more I hate Oprah pages on Facebook than almost anybody. And what's her God, her name is almost like yours. The author of Harry Potter,
J.K. Rollins.
J.K. Rollins. No author has more negative reviews than she has. She's got more 1-star reviews, I think somebody counted, than anybody else out there. And her books have sold millions of copies. So having haters doesn't mean pack up and go home. It means, yay, you've crossed over and you're not just preaching to the choir. And that's part of what comes with the territory. So, and Stephen Pressfield, a great, great marketing teacher, he says that he never reads his negative reviews because they have never once helped him to be more productive. He knows they're there and he says, yay, I've got them, but he doesn't spend time reading them because it will drain his energy and not propel him forward. If some people get propelled forward by reading their negative reviews, I, for one, don't get propelled forward. It definitely lowers my vibration. So unless it's like smacks me in the face and I can't help but see it, I'm not going to go looking for it. I know it's there. I know there's some people that hate my guts and want me dead, and that's fine. I don't have to go looking for them and trying to please them.
I did a whole show called Dear Haters, and I read my negative feedback, my 1-star reviews on the air, and I addressed each one of them. And I know some people, and I know some of you who are listening right now, you didn't like it, and you didn't like it because you felt badly for me, and you thought that the energy was not positive. Now, I also, on the flip side, got a lot of positive feedback, and the reason why I did it, and not that I agree with you, I don't like reading them. But at the same time, I was like, I wouldn't sit down and read, like if I had 20, I wouldn't like sit down and be like, I'm going to read all the negative reviews,
Right.
but at the same time, again, it's a test for me. It's a test for me.
Yes.
Can I have compassion?
Yes.
Can I understand? Am I healed enough within myself to see through my wounds?
Yes.
To tap into why someone would go to that extent to say something.
Right.
And because then I get to understand, I mean, then I can be of service even on another level. Now, some people are, I'm not trying to chase down the people that hate me in order to try to get them to like me.
Right.
But when I can understand their wounds, I can more clearly direct my show, my life, my community to understand a little bit more and have compassion. I think compassion releases resistance when you have compassion for people. So this is, I agree with you that this was a great place to stop, because it is a place where a lot of people get taken down.
Oh my God, I'm so proud of you for doing that. That is amazing. I mean, if you can shine a bright, bright light on those things and do something creative with it, which you did, then I think that is the ultimate alchemy. And alchemy is a big part of the hero's journey, transforming those things that might have in the past hurt you or slowed you down, doing something so creative with it that it actually propels you and makes you more transparent, makes you more open. I love you even more knowing that you did that, JJ. It's like, my heart feels even more connected to you. It makes me trust you, makes me love you even more. I remember seeing Lady Gaga perform for something. It might have been the Grammys one year or whatever it was. And in the background of her performance was not every, but a bunch of the things that haters have said to her. So there was one thing that said, you're fat. Another one said, you're ugly. You've got a big nose. You've got a horrible voice. You're a whiner. You're a blah. And she just put all of them up there while she was just rocking out, dancing, doing her thing, and like shining a light on it as if to say, you have no power over me. Thank you for sharing. And here I go. And in dreams, by the way, we have little mini haters. It's as within, so without. If we have people in our outer life that don't like us, that are criticizing us, we have these characters in our dreams, and they're a part of ourselves. So I think when we can learn to love the little haters within ourselves, and if it's a part of ourselves, it's easier. We have more power over it than if we make it an energy that's outside of ourselves, that's gone rogue, and try to fix it or help ourselves from outside of ourselves. It just makes it easier when I see everything as a hologram. It's all me. So I have to just up level my self-love and do something creative with what they're saying. So, and I love Candace Bergen did something where somebody called her on Instagram a white ass honky ho. And she made a t-shirt, white ass honky ho. And I think she even changed her screen name to old ass honky ho.
Oh my God. That's hilarious.
Hilarious. So yeah, let's turn it into art. Anyway, so that's one of the things that we can do about this. So moving on.
Well, hold on.
Yeah.
Are we at number 6 right now? Are we still in the belly of the whale? Or are we in the road? We're
no,
number
that
7.
was the road of trials. That's
okay.
And the road of trials has a lot of stages within that stage. And then including now there's this supreme ordeal. And often people are like, oh my God, when does it get fun? This hero's journey is difficult. It's hard. And it is. It's not for the wimps. It's for, even though we're all on it, to be on a really hardcore, intense hero's journey to manifest outside of what formerly has been our comfort zone. It's difficult. So it's par for the course that we're going to face our biggest boogeyman. Like in Star Wars, Luke Skywalker had to do the face-off with Darth Vader. So whoever your Darth Vader is, whatever big scary thought that is yours, whatever secret that's been in your closet that you didn't want people to ever know about you, or whatever the fear is, it's going to come up. And when it comes up, be armed and be prepared for it. Know that it's there. Shine all your light on it. Bring on your archangels. In dreams, this is the one that you swear is trying to kill you, and you're running, or it's a big tiger that's about to leap on you. Whatever it is, know that this is also part of your hero's journey, whether in your waking life or in dreams. And my formula for how to address this and how to alchemize it is fear, FEAR. Face it, embrace it, ace it, and replace it. To me, that's the formula for how to relatively quickly create some alchemy, turn the funky stuff into gold that can add fuel to our hero's journey.
Love it.
Yeah. So then if we can successfully do that, and we know that we've done it when we're no longer terrified by the thing that was chasing us, when we've turned it into our ally and it's now on our side, then yay, we come upon the reward. Finally, this is the reward stage. You know that you're in this stage if you're dreaming about cake or presents or an award that somebody's granting you or a standing ovation, or you're flying. One of these awesome dreams, or you're making love with someone and it's just sublime, and it's like you're communing with the angels. Whatever it is, those are the dreams that kind of mark this stage of the hero's journey. In our waking life, it's when you get recognized for something, you get the book deal, you get on Oprah, you meet the guy, you get married. If you're like going back to our marriage metaphor, we could say that this is when you go through all the different trials of, oh my God, what dress am I going to wear? What's the venue? It canceled. Finally, you get married and it all comes together and there's all these gifts and it's happy and it's like, oh my God, it was so worth it. So that's the reward stage. And as we talked about earlier, it's easy to kind of skip past the reward stage and not revel in it long enough and to move on to the next difficult thing. But as JJ and I say, revel a little bit or a lot bit longer in the reward. Like have a longer honeymoon, have a longer celebration. Make sure that you get that little piece of cake, even if it's gluten-free. I say eat a faux nut if you need to celebrate with some kind of decadent thing. A faux nut is healthy for you and it's really delicious. So whatever it takes, do something to reward and celebrate yourself. In fact, do it every day. Anything
Absolutely.
else you want to say on that? What?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, being in receiving mode. So it's part of what I
Yes.
do this manifestation challenge. And that's part of it, is to get into that receiving mode place every day, to
Yes.
practice that, because for a lot of people, that's out of their comfort zone for them to feel joy, for them to feel happy every day. You know, it's not something we're so used to feeling productive when we worry or when we plan for something or when we're, overdoing because we're have anxiety because we don't trust. So all of those things, definitely practicing receiving mode helps you to enjoy this stage and to receive more, as we all know.
Exactly. So one practical thing is the next compliment you get from somebody, if they say, oh, you look so pretty in that, or, oh, that was such a wonderful thing you created. Stop, pause, take a big deep breath, put your hand on your heart and revel in that. Take it in. Like imagine you're a flower that's being watered. Receive it, absorb it, let it go into your roots. Next time you see a sunset or a pretty flower or anything, somebody sends you something, I don't know, whatever good thing, just be aware that you might have the tendency to skip past it, resist that temptation and just linger there, even if it's just for a few minutes longer. When you have a really good dream, I was telling somebody this the other day, so many people tell me about these good dreams and that they really spend the rest of their day pissed off because they couldn't go back inside the dream. It's like, oh my God, don't be pissed off that dream's over, because on a parallel plane, it's never over. It continues, and you can dip back into that fountain of youth anytime you want just by talking about it or thinking about it. So revel in that reward. In fact, we might even, like Reverend Michael Beckwith says, pain pushes until inspiration pulls. Most of us, at least in the past, up till now, are used to being motivated by pain. But we could just as easily get oriented around what inspires us, what feels good, so that we're positively inspired to move forward. And one way to do that is by reveling in these things that make us feel good, reveling in these positive dreams. And that may be a way to amplify our attractor beam to bring in more, better, good than it would be to just be working on ourselves and all of those difficult things. So I love this, and I'm glad that you relate to that, JJ. Okay. Just when you got your reward, that's not where the journey ends. The journey ain't over until you share it with the people back home. So we begin the stage called the return. And Joseph Campbell says that the return with the elixir sometimes is just as difficult as the refusal to the call in the beginning, because it's difficult to, now that you've had this breakthrough, this revelation, you know that the people back home might not get it, or they might look at you like you've got two heads. So why do I want to share this insight that I've gained with people that might not get it? Know that it's important to bring your message down to earth and to figure out a way to make what you've earned and learned accessible to the masses or to the people back home, because ultimately they're rooting for you to do this. So this is where you begin your journey back. At some point along your journey back, the resurrection kicks in, where your reward is no longer this thing that's external to you, or no longer this insight that you think about from time to time, but it's like you become the butterfly. You go from being the caterpillar into the butterfly. You become the elixir. You've embodied the energy of the flying dream. You've embodied the lottery that you won in your dream. You embody the reward so much that is your new you. You've embodied the hero that you are. And then you come home. You return with the elixir, and you know that you have returned with the elixir when you are creating some vehicle with which you can now share it, whether it's your book, whether it's a talk that you give, or it's your podcast, or it's simply your willingness to, when you're at a party, to share what you learned about when you were in Europe, or what you went through on your divorce, what you went through. So it's important to know that the journey ain't over until you can share it.
So it's interesting, the return of the elixir, as you mentioned, sometimes it's just that willingness, and it is that thing that you're birthing. I mean, in a way, you can even look at this too, like pregnancy, right?
Yes.
It's the stages of what happens. And of course, before you have a child or before you create the book, there are things that are uncomfortable along the way, and challenges and tests and all that good stuff. So, all right. So now we have the hero's journey, and halfway through, I thought, we really should be cutting this into 2 shows. Now I've extended this, and today's show will be a little bit longer than normal, because I didn't want to leave people hanging like, hey, you didn't hit the stage I was in yet. I was like, okay, I can't separate the stages, because they'll say, no, I've done all that already. I'm not in that stage. What's the next one? What's the next one? Right. Okay. So, what I would recommend for all of you, I know a lot of you write to me and tell me that, you listen to the show when you're driving and you can't take notes. But obviously this is one of those episodes where I'm going to possibly recommend that you listen to it while you're sitting at your desk, or when you're at home before you go to bed, or when you wake up in the morning, or on the weekend, or some time where you can just take a few notes and really notice where you are here, and see if that shifts how you feel about where you're going and what you're going to do with that. And it may or may not. And as Kelly said, she gave a lot of different ideas about how you can use your dreams and the information that you're getting through your dreams to help you in each one of these stages. But I also know, besides Kelly's 10 books, that she's got a deck of oracle cards. So why don't we talk a little bit about with using this framework right now?
Yes.
And I want you to give the whole overview, because again, like, I know people get excited about the newer content, so they're not,
right.
they haven't paused to go back and listen to the other shows. So why don't you just explain to everybody where to find you and how you work with people currently? I know you have a lot of offerings in terms of materials people can do on their own, but just for the person that's listening, thinking, well, can I work with you privately? And can you do dream interpretation, or do you do any events? So go ahead and just give us, where can we find Kelly? What do you recommend for home study courses and materials?
Okay, so before I answer that question, thank you so much for asking. I just wanted to go back to our marriage metaphor. So I got married about 17 years ago, and I learned so much through that. My younger sister just got married 2 weekends ago. And I was able to give her advice based on what I did right and what I did wrong. And so she was able to apply that into her marriage. And it was awesome. So that's like an example of the going home with the elixir. Like it's not just mine to keep, my insights from my well-earned and the difficulties that I had. It's like it was so satisfying to share it with my little sister. So something so simple like that. That's what it means to come full circle. Okay, and every book that I've written is also kind of, we could say, the culmination of a particular lap around the hero's journey. This book, the Hero's Journey Dream Journal. This is something that I've been dreaming about and that has been percolating in the background for a long time. So the journal is out. The Hero's Journey Oracle deck, Hero's Journey Dream Meditations. These are all out. It's like a whole package that is out that's weaving dreams and the hero's journey together. I'm so excited. And they've been nominated for some awards and I'm up for, whatever. We'll see. So
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And let's see, other books. I mean, I've got 2 Chicken Soup for the Soul books that I'm really excited about as well. One's called Dreams and Premonitions. Another one is Dreams and the Unexplainable. For people that say, okay, out of all your books, which one do you recommend? For people that want to take a deep dive in understanding the nature of their dreams and how to alchemize dreams, my book that is my favorite is It's All in Your Dreams. And that one talks about the 5 portals to an awakened life. It's important. And then I've got 2 dream dictionaries. One is called what's it called? I Had the Strangest Dream. And that's the Dreamer's Dictionary for the 21st Century. And then I've got one for those who are more relationship and marriage oriented. It's the Love, Sex, and Relationship Dream Dictionary. It looks at dreams and dream symbols from the perspective of love. So those are, and then I've got other Oracle decks, but that's kind of the main gist with my books. My Facebook page is Kelly Sullivan Walden, Dr. Dream. It's very long, but I post all kinds of, I have I do a Facebook Live every Wednesday morning before my radio show, which is every Wednesday from 10 to 11 on Unity Online Radio. It's called Ask Dr. Dream. And on Instagram, I'm Kelly S. Walden, and Twitter, also Kelly S. Walden. But the last thing, and probably the most important thing, is my website, which is kellysullivanwalden.com or ihadthestrangestdream.com. I offer a free dream declaration, meditation, plus a bunch of videos and a bunch of offerings that are, it would be at least, a couple $100 worth of free dream-oriented gifts that you get when you sign up on my website. And one of the things you should look for on my website is my upcoming journey to Teotihuacan, Mexico. It's coming up in January 2020. And it's a journey that I do that is my favorite thing that I do all year long. It's an accelerated dream experience where people have a true awakening. We climb the pyramids and explore the ancient mythologies of the Toltecs, and it's super powerful, and I love taking people, and I'm just, what a blessing to get to be here with you, JJ. So I know I'm rambling on and on, but I want you to know what a blessing it is to be with you and your awesome community. Thank you again for having me back.
Well, it was time. The universe said it's time. Otherwise, we would not have run into each other at Agape.
Yes.
And it wasn't that I wasn't thinking about that. I thought, yeah, but it was time. So thank you for being on the show again and for this amazing explanation of the hero's journey. I think it was the right time for everyone listening to take all of the teachings and things they've learned so far and plug it into a structure that now has perspective. Just like I teach about I use the seasons as an example for, I tell people often, imagine if you didn't know what a season was. Every winter we would freak out, right? But you understand the cycles, which makes you not freak out. You plan for it, you expect it, and you embrace it.
Well said. Exactly. It's like, oh my God, it's snowing. Oh my God, we're never going to have heat again. Right. Oh my God, this is it. And it's only happening to me.
Right. Right. So, right. So this is a really great exercise, and I hope everyone will go check out all of Kelly's stuff and see what calls to you, kellysullivanwalden.com. And again, Kelly, I just think you're amazing. And I know we've been connected for a long time. So hopefully our paths will cross sooner than later. And I appreciate again that you took the time to be on the show today. Thank you.
Oh, you're such a blessing. Thank you so much, JJ. Best of luck and to you and all of your community members. And I'm so grateful. So sweet dreams to everybody. Thank you.